Hey guys, so today in this video we are going to do lesson 5 and we're going to compare decimals, okay? So I'm going to show you very easily how we can compare decimals to see which is the bigger number and which is the smaller number, okay? And we will compare decimals to the thousandths. As you can see over here, that's what you're supposed to do, okay? By the end of the lesson. So, first few things to go over. You're going to see these symbols a lot in this lesson and you're going to be using them in this lesson and the next, okay? So when you see this one means greater than, okay? So we know that if you have 5 of something, it's more than or bigger than having 2 of something, right? So that means 5 is greater than 2. Okay? And there's many other words you can use, as I said, greater than, more than, okay? There's a few more. So, 5 is greater than 2, okay? So, what's the opposite of greater or bigger? Smaller or less than, right? That's what this means, okay? This symbol is for less than, smaller than, okay? So, if we have a 3 over here, and a 6 over here, 3 is obviously smaller than 6, right? So that means 3 is less than 6, or 3 is smaller than 6, okay? The equal sign means the same. 5 equals 5. Exactly the same, okay? That's what equals is. So these are our symbols. Now sometimes it can be confusing which symbol to use, which way around do I use it. Remember this, okay? The bigger side of the arrow, you see it's like an arrow. The bigger side of the arrow goes to the bigger number, okay? Whichever side the bigger number is on. The bigger side of the arrow, that's why sometimes I like to put dots here. You see there's 2 dots and there's 1 dot on this side, right? So the bigger side gets the more dots and the smaller side gets the less dots. That's a little trick you can use to help, okay? So for this one, 6 is the bigger number. So that means the bigger side of the arrow will go next to the 6, okay? Now then, let's go on to the main purpose of the lesson, which is to compare decimals. We will compare decimals, then we will be using these symbols, okay? So, let's bring up some decimals. Now, let's say we have 3.567, 3.542, 6, 4, okay? So we have 3 sets of numbers and we want to see which is the biggest number, okay? So we're going to order it from greatest to smallest, greatest to least, okay? There's a number of words you have to be used to seeing and hearing, and you're going to see it in your book, okay? So if I just bring it up here, in your book or whatever other papers or other way you look at this kind of lesson, okay? You're going to see, it's going to say, if I was on the right page, but I know I'm doing anyway, it's compare the decimals, order the decimals from greatest to least, okay? So you're going to see that, greatest to least, or, and be very, very careful, least to greatest, okay? You have to be very careful which way you're solving these kind of questions, okay? So for this one, and I'll write it here, right? Greatest to least. Now least is also another way of saying smaller than or less than, okay? So we're going to order them greatest to least, okay? Now, how are we going to do that, okay? Here's what I want you to do. line up the decimal numbers according to place value. Okay, you remember place value from the previous lessons? This is the ones, right? This one is the tenths. This one is the hundredths and the thousandths. Okay? Everything is lined up nice and neat. Now we can compare to see which is the biggest. Okay? The greatest. First, we start on the left, then we move to the right. Okay? So this is the direction we are going to go. Start with this one. Which is the biggest number? 3, 3, 3. They are all the same. Okay? So we're not going to find the answer here. Okay? We're done with this. We don't need it. Now let's go to the next one. Are we going to find it here? 5, 5, 5? No. All the same again. So we can cross that out. We don't need them 5s. Now the next one. Okay? We have a 6, a 4, and a 6. We are looking for the greatest first, right? Because that's what the question said, the greatest. So we have a 6 and a 4 and a 6. The 6s will stay. The 4 we don't need anymore. Why do we not need the 4? Because it's not the same value as a 6 and it's not even higher. So now we know automatically that this one is the least, right? Or the smallest. Now then, we're comparing this number and this number to see which is the biggest, right? So 6 and 6 is the same. Done. Now we have a 7 and a 4. We don't need this one anymore, right? 7 and 4. Which is the bigger number? The 7. That means this one is the greatest. So if we have to now write them out nicely to finish off the question, okay? We can see that the greatest first is 3.567. Then it's this one, right? Because the 4 is just after the 7. 3.564. And then it's 3.542. Okay? This is a very fast, very easy way to see which is the greatest number and which is the smallest number. Okay? Now, I'm going to do another example. I'm going to do it much faster so you can see how quick it can be. Okay? Right, let's take some more numbers. Let's say we have 4, 3, 9, 2. Okay, 3 more numbers, right? Let's find the greatest first. Greatest to the least, right? Okay, so 4, 4, 4, it's all the same, cross it off. Next, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got 2 big numbers and 1 small number. Do we need the 2 anymore? Do we need this number anymore? No, we're finished with this one. We know this one is the least, right? So we can finish it off over here. 4.284. We know it's the least. Now, cross off the 3's. 9, 9. Exactly the same. Let's move on to the next number. 2 and 0. Which is the biggest number? The 2. So that means this one is the biggest number. The biggest decimal number. Okay? So 4.392. And then it's finished 4.390. Okay? So, this is a very easy way to find out which decimal number is bigger than the other number, or any kind of number, not just decimals. Okay? So, the last thing I want to show you is now using these symbols. Okay? So we have this method, this technique, this way, to see which is the bigger decimal, right? So now, what if the question asks you, which number is bigger? 5.40 or 5.42, okay? And in here, in this circle, you'll have to input one of these symbols, okay? So guys, which number is bigger? Compare, right? Line them up according to place value. So 5.40, 5.42, and now we can see, right? 5s are the same, 4s are the same, and in the last place, the 2 is bigger than the 0. So that means this number is bigger than this number. So because this number is bigger, the bigger side of the arrow goes here. And it's as easy as that, okay? Let's take the number 1. Let's say we want to compare 9.99, and this side we're going to have 9.99. Okay? Looks like I'm trying to trick you about now, okay? Trying to show you something here. So, which number is bigger? Again, I want you to write them out according to place value, one under the other, okay? 9.99, right? Now you can see we kind of have an empty space here, right? In the empty space, guys, you can write a 0, okay? You can write a 0 right there. Because it's an empty space in the decimals, in the decimal place value, you can write zeros at the end of the number, okay? So, do you compare same, which is bigger? This 9. That means this number is bigger. So the arrow will be facing that way. Okay? Let's pick one last example. Let's say we have 24.32 and 17.1. Which number is bigger? Line them up. Or maybe if you want to work a little faster, you don't have to line them up. You can leave the numbers where they are and cross off very carefully. Cross the first number. We can see the 7s are the same, we don't need them. Cross out the 4 because they're the same. I have a 3 and a 2. 3 is bigger, right? That means this number is bigger. So we use this arrow, the bigger side. And that's it, guys. For this lesson, all you need to do, compare the decimals, line them up very carefully, and that way you can very easily see which is the bigger decimal and which is the smaller one.